The planet needs more compassionate people now than ever before. Welcome back to Sustainable Living with Shilpa Reddy, powered by Planet Green's Farm Natura, a new beginning to your life. Today, on yet another episode of Coco Work Sustainable Star, I have with me a very humble, ever smiling, and the woman of words, Jhansi. Hi, Jhansi.
Namaste, Shilpa Garu.
Since this show is in English, we will converse in English.
Definitely, as much as I can.
Yes. So, first of all, thank you for being on my show. And I'm excited that I'm getting to ask you questions for the first time.
This is a really wonderful feeling. I must congratulate you on choosing the right platform for the wise thoughts, Ankonda. I love this. I love the way that you have started a discussion, a conversation, and this is the important time for the day that we are living, or the time that is going.
I'm glad you feel that way. And today we are trying and revealing another side of Jhansi, maybe the side most of the people do not know of.
Which I think most of them don't think is important, but let's see how I can relate to what we think it is.
Trust me, you fit in so well, in this subject, and I've heard a lot about you. So let's start. So the first question is rather unusual, but I see a connect, hence I'm going to start with asking you about your spirituality. I heard you're extremely spiritual, and what is your idea about spirituality and what kind of role did it play in your life?
Spirituality does not mean religion. I keep telling everybody the same thing. So I follow my guru, and my mother is my first guru. At home we have seen my parents, my aunts, everybody growing into their own, they have created their spaces, and they've grown very well and seasoned very well in their ways of spirituality. And I think that was the first influence, and that comes as naturally. It's not something that I've yearned for, or I've learned, or I have sought antankada. I've not been seeking for it, but it has come naturally because we have influences from home.
Okay.
Again, my mother's idea is that it's again Janma Samskara, that not necessary that everybody picks it up while homes have such certain spiritual environment to grow in. Not everybody takes to it. So it's again Janma Samskara. I don't know what made me start. I feel that karma is my philosophy.
Okay.
So I engage myself more into karma philosophy.
So the reason I asked you is I've asked this question to many of the other guests who were on my show. Personally, what I noticed is someone who is inclined towards spirituality, not 100%, but a majority of the lot, start feeling for not just for yourself or your family, but things around nature, other animals, other people, and they are in touch with the consequences, their actions, their thoughts, and start including everything into their life and into their realm. When you do that, I think sustainability is a consequence. I don't know if you believe or if you feel that's right, but do you see a connect between sustainability and spirituality?
Definitely. The moment you understand sustainability, the definition of it, by letting it be, by not destruction, sustainability's meaning comes not destruction, continuation, progress, evolution, and that is what spirituality. The moment you are into the line of spirituality, I think sustainability comes naturally to you. As you have rightly said, compassion, understanding that we are all vibrating at the same frequency, the plant, the chair, the person, the dog, the animal, everywhere, everything is vibrating at some frequency. And it's up to you how you have related. Let yourself vibrate with it or disconnect it with it. All of us are there. It's just a disconnect that one has to open. Maybe, might be, I'm not sure. I think I have to delve more into if spirituality has led me into sustainability. There must be a connect.
You said it so beautifully. It doesn't take effort. When you're in that space, it comes to you naturally.
Correct.
That's what I was trying to make.
Right. You were 100% right then.
Another question is, you've been in media and entertainment business, and there's glitz and glamour, and it's all presentation, but you let none of that touch you and kept yourself simple, humble, and live a sustainable lifestyle. How did you manage to do that?
Which is, I don't know, which has come naturally, I suppose. Thought. Whatever you have started off starts with a thought. Every action has a thought. Maybe that mindfulness, watching myself, every word that I was trying to do, every show, every the places that I was going to, maybe it's the mindfulness that has made me into what I am. Choosing the right projects, right people to work with, and saying no to certain elements or certain things had come very, very firmly. I didn't have resistance there.
Right.
See, there's a conflict each time that you have to say no. As you've rightly said, entertainment India, the entertainment media in India is really very glamorous. It's perceived with glitter.
Correct.
A
Yeah, glitz and
bling,
glam.
glitz, bring it on, look like $1 million baby, that kind of, especially the media, the way that it was, the evolution of satellite channels from 95, 96 to 2000, those 5 years at least was still experimental.
Correct.
From 97, 98, everything started to change at a very rapid speed.
I see that.
So
Yeah.
the fashion, the influences of fashion industry had started to affect entertainment industry, where I wasn't fitting into the norms. So I had to find where I come from.
Right.
I come from questioning, mindfulness, awareness, social, gender, developmental, rights perspective. These are my forte, and I thought, let me start building my work from there.
Right.
That's where Naveena came, Chetana came, or any interviews that I was doing. I had that sense. The gravity was coming from who I am,
Wow.
rather than the external elements affecting me. There was a clash. There was resistance, but there was no clash.
Ah, okay.
People were finding it really very difficult for them to say, "Ma'am, I want you to look like this," but I was looking like something else. I was wearing handlooms. I was trying to look as natural, earthy as possible, trying to minimize the makeup, trying to minimize the hairdos. So they used to find me as a rebel kid who was not fitting into things.
But you found your space.
That, thank God, there's something, universe has something in store for you. I think it was destiny which was making me do things.
Right.
I was needed for certain shows, I suppose.
Okay.
There were certain discussions which were not being on the mainstream television, which required people like me, like you,
Right.
to take them up, to talk, to make it heard.
I remember we spoke many times on Roshni also.
Exactly.
Yes.
So these were the platforms, though they were not on the prime time, though they were not entertaining masses like other shows would do.
Correct.
But I believe that these are important.
Absolutely.
There was a show which I was doing for Society for Hearing Impaired, and that day, that Thursday, every Thursday that we have these TRP review meetings, my producer was upset because she had to hear nonsense from the marketing team that you don't do well, you don't have TRPs.
Okay.
There's a, we are investing in the show which is not redundant
Giving
show,
the
which is not
results.
giving returns. So she had to hear all of that. What does that mean? In a normal term, it would have been failure,
Right.
not a successful show, because it wasn't generating as much as revenue. Ideally it should have, but the impact should not be measured in money is my policy.
Absolutely.
And we believed in it so much so that the return was next week when we get calls from Society to Aid the Hearing Impaired, SAHI, saying that they had 8,000 calls in that week.
Wow.
A show which you think has not reached people in terms of TRP has reached people who were in necessity.
Right.
People who had problems with children who had hearing impairment.
Right.
So it has reached the right purpose, the
Absolutely.
right place. So we believed and we continued our work.
I also heard, from other guests that media film industry has a lot of wastage on the sets and lots of pollution, like single-use plastic, lots of food waste. So if you have to suggest the industry something that they can easily implement and reduce all of this, what would you say?
Well, the single-use plastic actually has come now. Let me say that industry wasn't as bad as people think. As you know, I would say the weddings or the extravagant celebrations outside are even more polluting or contributing to single-use plastics than the industry per se. I would say that our industry runs in systems of,
Okay.
you know, there's somebody who takes care of production of food, there is somebody who's bringing in other facility manager. There are departments which continue or contribute to the smooth functioning of the shoot. I'm always amazed with the way that our food department functions, which is called the production department in our language. So the production is not the production, the management side, but which is the food production.
Okay.
So this department has everything right from cutlery, which is spoon to bowl to flask to stove. They make everything on the set. They
Okay.
bring food in big carriers.
Right.
They serve food in hot cases. They'll keep food for you there. They serve you in steel plates.
Right.
Then which are washed. There is manpower there on the
On the set
set.
itself. Huh.
There are people who wash utensils and keep it ready for your night meal or the evening meal or the next
Okay.
There is chai which is prepared on set. There's coffee which is prepared on set. It is only now that is the COVID restrictions which have entered. We have
Since
started.
then.
Since then, the single-use
Okay.
plastic has come into the film and the television industry.
Okay.
Otherwise, there's not much of waste. Yes, there is food waste. Yes, there is plastic waste which I see in the grids of the sets that is made, the thermocol, the lighting, the paints that we use, the VOCs that we release into environment. There are other ways we are polluting. The polluting thought as well.
So you have ways to reduce that. What can they do?
Leaving the physical waste that we are doing, there are ways, like I love what you are doing right now. We're sitting in a very lovely set, which looks fabulous, which looks luxury, which looks green, which looks lively, which is everything in this, which is modern, contemporary, yet bringing in indoors and outdoors, merging, so very well done. But this is not a space which will look like this after you're done.
Right.
So what I find from you is, these are living creatures, your set is a living set.
Right.
Right? We could all do that. We could add elements which are living along with us. Everything doesn't need to be vinyl printed, everything doesn't need to be LED or flashy.
Right.
You can still add elements. It's
So
just a
find
thought.
substitutes for
Substitutes.
something which you're already using.
It is just how you give it to your audience and what do they take from it.
Right.
You give them glids and say, boss, this is glamour and this is fashion. They'll take that.
Right.
I've seen you reworking on beautiful handlooms and converting them into modern couture so beautifully.
Thank you.
So it's nothing. Fashion doesn't need to be
Yeah.
fast fashion.
So the one I'm wearing also, it's all cotton with cotton lining. So there's nothing synthetic about this, but then the silhouette is very modern.
Very modern. That's how you amalgamate
Yes,
things. So I choose to be as much natural as possible. There are certain things that I cannot avoid
Absolutely.
for the profession that I am in.
Correct.
If I am not on the screen, if I am behind, or if I'm talking to somebody like you, this is where I am, I need to look like myself. I
Absolutely.
would prefer whatever that I would want to. And I'm very glad that you didn't give me a color combination or say that I want you to look like this, which otherwise other channels or other platforms would require you to look in certain
certain
pattern.
way, okay.
So that's where my sustainability or my mindfulness comes in place. I say, what can I contribute here?
Correct.
You will not believe, Shilpa Garu, that I have recycled, upcycled all the fabric that I have till now. After it's after 11 or 10 years that I come back to entertainment business, after doing Navina, Chetna and other Black or other shows that I had been doing for other developmental angle shows chhod ke. If I've come back onto entertainment, it was on Star Ma's Parivar League and Start Music, which were very, very run-of-the-mill kind of entertainment shows.
Okay.
Where people had already set certain norms. They had to look like this, you had to shout like this, you had to give your intro like this, walk like this, dance like this,
Yeah.
pull each other's legs like this, make it look like a very light show. Do not bring in anything that is heavy. That was the first thing that I was given by my director.
Okay.
Ma'am, skits to chalte rahenge on the show. They'll keep making jokes, but do not react to them, please.
Okay. Okay, okay.
You understand? On a normal day,
Right.
you and I would have said, no, that's not right. You shouldn't be saying that.
Okay.
And please don't bring that angle. If that's not right, we can edit it later.
Right.
Let's not get that discussion. I said, theek hai. Then they came after my look. How are you going to present yourself? I said, I will look glamorous. I will look good. But I will use all recycled, repurposed
Huh.
fabric.
Okay.
I will not buy anything new. So if you observe 2 seasons of Parivar League and Start Music, you will see that I have reused the same fabric.
Oh, wow.
All through, I've changed the styles. So I didn't have a designer. I tried reaching out to many designers, and they had a standard pattern, standard look set for television, standard everything, and everything was looking same. On every anchor, it was looking same. I said, chalo, let me break that.
Wow.
Let
so
me
you
do.
literally broke the norm of one-time use fashion in the industry.
That's it, and I don't mind seeing myself repeating a costume or repeating a fabric or a pattern. It's
Right.
okay. What's wrong in it?
Absolutely.
Everything can't be new for each and every show that you do.
Absolutely. That reminds me of an interesting story that you shared when you said you literally gave away
Saris,
How many
clothes,
saris were there actually?
around 300 or 350 saris, kurtas, dupattas.
So what switched? Like, why did you think that one day I'll sit and get rid of all this?
All right, I have invested so much in my handlooms or passionately collected articles. I sat down and so I don't think I'm the person who's going to come back and reuse it. Even if I start wearing them, if I not repeat them for a period of time, each one will take at least a year to come back.
Come back. Yes.
To wear?
Yes.
But there are favorites in them.
Yes.
There are emotions which are attached to fabrics or the costume or to the occasion that we have worn,
Tell
and
me
you
about
still want, you still want to retain it in your wardrobe.
Right.
And it was getting really difficult for me, understanding that the kind of person that I'm a very fluid person. I can't call myself a very disciplined person. So the kind of fluidity that I have in my life, it was very difficult for me to manage all of them.
Okay.
And there is so much of emotional attachment to them. I said, I'll keep the memories to myself,
Right.
but not to the actual
Not in a material form, physical
material
form.
form, physical form.
That's beautiful.
So we'll say we've created with the anchors, the actors that we know who are on these smaller channels who require, so we created a bank.
Oh, okay.
I said there are people who would want to use them again.
Absolutely. Huh.
So we've created a bank. We've created a group of girls who would want to use them again in the way that they would want to. That is one way that people have picked and chosen and come back to reuse. The second one is we did a exchange pop-up kind of shop where we exchanged. We just let them there, and
What
I picked
fun.
up. Yeah, it was a fun
So
evening.
this is so interesting, Jansi, like not just getting rid of your, clothes, but creating a space where the right kind of people, actually enjoy taking those clothes that you want to give away. That's brilliant, I must tell you.
It was a great experience because I have benefited. The blouse that I'm wearing is a pre-owned blouse.
Really?
Yeah, I just had to do a few here and there adjustments.
Wow.
I loved the work, and we made everybody write the story behind the fabric.
Oh.
And we made sure that it's not like every piece of a sari or a dress. It has to come with a story. It has to come with a purpose.
That is
that's-
so right. Wow.
so
I'm
it is-
so floored by what you just spoke and like, wow. It's
For example,
incredible.
what you're wearing is a beautiful silhouette, and there's an effort which
Yeah.
you put into it. Made sure that there's cotton lining, made sure that it's a fabric which is handloom.
Right.
That has a story in itself.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's
Wow.
that needs to go out.
Right.
It's not the ownership. Long back, I had a kanta
Kanta
silk,
work.
kanta work silk dupatta which I bought, and that later was converted into a kurta. Then that kept on going with me. That became such a favorite kurta of mine that I wore it literally for every other occasion. Then the silk started to fade. I know it would give away at a point of time,
Right.
and I won't wear it the way that I'm wearing it like this. Then I thought, okay, I cannot let it go. Now it is sitting under my television as a runner.
Oh.
I cut them up into pieces,
Okay.
Then
So it
we
had a
add,
full life.
it has a full life, and I didn't want that life to go away before I cherished it.
Right.
Pigilpoi, you understand that
They
word,
fall apart.
pigilpodam, to
Disintegrates, fall apart.
disintegrate, or the thread, the tension of the
Correct.
thread comes off. That will not serve purpose. I thought, hello, let's do something with it. You come.
Interesting.
I have a very small apartment where I live, and my entire apartment, I've not changed my furniture since the time that they have come in. Something comes into my house, nothing goes out. It keeps repeating its shape. My dining table chairs, I've upholstered with the fabric that
Right.
I've sourced from various. My dupattas become upholstery fabric. My curtains
Wow.
become my sofa fabric.
My God.
And the saris or the glitzy material that I had chosen for these so-called shows,
Right.
with certain silks of old saris, are now my curtains, my blinds.
Okay.
We've made quilts for my pets.
Oh.
So everything is being reused at our home.
Something which always fascinated me about you is your command on your language, Telugu. I think other than Telugu scholars, I have not seen many speak the way you speak Telugu, the kind of pronunciation, the kind of choice of words. I mean, I really admire. I mean,
Thank you.
how did it happen? Is it your pure love for the language, or did something had a role to play?
Definitely. All India Radio, Akashwani has a great role.
I didn't expect that.
My mother worked for All India Radio. She's a retired program executive from All India Radio. So
Okay.
my stint as an anchor or the host started as young as Balanandam, Balavinodam. I was just a 5-year-old child when I started talking in front of a mic. So we were into a Hindi medium school or a central school,
Okay.
and Telugu wasn't a subject.
Okay.
While I was doing All India Radio shows and programs, while reading and writing was very necessary, my mom taught us. My grandparents taught us Telugu at home because we didn't have it as a subject in the school.
Okay.
Then when I started working in the industry, tab tak Hindi was my favorite language, and I had command in Hindi so much so that people think that I'm a North Indian if I start speaking Hindi.
Oh, I've never
People
heard you
do,
speak.
yes. So people think that I have good command on Hindi, and that started off Hindi and Sanskritam. Both of them were my
Oh, you
my
speak
forte.
Sanskrit too?
As well, yes.
Wow.
So that is my base for Telugu.
Ah, now
Then
it
I started
explains.
understanding Telugu as Sahityam, Vyakaranam, grammar, all literature and grammar. Later I had to work on it because I didn't have it as a subject.
Correct.
So I had gurus in the industry like Nim Garu, Tanikila Bharani Garu. These people have introduced me to Telugu literature.
Okay.
As young as 18, 19, I started to read literature, and
Okay.
my influence of people who I was speaking to, connecting to Bapu Garu, Ramana Garu,
Right.
all these influences have added. As I told you, I'm very fast in
So
being
did
influenced.
you ever think of writing poetry, prose, or even scripts for the movies?
For the movies, I still have a dream that I will sometime direct something which is interesting.
Okay, and you would write for it, I'm sure.
Yes, definitely. But I have on and off been writing for my television scripts. I have been doing that. On a very, very rare occasions that I've written poetry.
Okay, so
Poetry
you
is-
did.
yes,
I
Telugu
knew you
is-
did.
yeah.
Somewhere deep down I knew you must have done it.
Telugu, English, both the mediums that I've tried to express myself, especially when I'm disturbed. There is a turmoil going.
Okay.
That's when poetry comes out as an answer.
Wow.
That's something I've explored. And I've written a play called Purusha Suktam in Telugu, which talks about toxic masculinity and how we have not addressed toxic masculinity from a women's perspective and let it be a man's challenge.
Okay.
Not understanding that there is something called masculinity which is bothering them, rather than we think that women are being hit by toxic masculinity, but the toxic masculinity is hitting a man. This Purusha Suktam. Telugu న్యాచురల్గా రావాలని లేదు, మనకి ఎన్నో ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్సెస్. ఐ డోంట్ నో ఇఫ్ ఐమ్ అలౌడ్ టు స్పీక్. దెర్ ఆర్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్సెస్ ఆఫ్ వెస్టర్న్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్సెస్ ఆర్ ది నీడ్ దట్ ఈస్ made us communicate in English so much so that we all think that Telugu kante English is much better.
True.
And there's a
that
flow.
reminds me, if you don't mind me speaking about it. So I was also very good at Telugu, like 85% when I was writing and reading during school times. But then I worked a lot on English, the pronunciation. So I felt it was a great achievement to be able to speak in English without, mistakes or with the right kind of pronunciation. So there was a long time up till when I felt and took pride in being able to speak English. But now it's completely the other way around. I mean, I speak, but then I don't take pride in that.
It becomes a matter of fact, right? It's just a switch. So, dark reverse. For me, it has become like you speak in Telugu, you make your own base there. That's where I'm recognized for.
Right, absolutely.
My language, my culture, if I don't know about it, who else will take pride in it and who else will speak? So there's no other achievement. There are other friends who are from other languages who speak Telugu equally well. And I think that's an achievement.
Absolutely.
So for us, being from the same language, this should not be an achievement for us.
Exactly. The other day when I called you, you were at your farm and you said you were doing new plantation. So what is your connect with Mother Nature and farming? What did it do to you?
As always, my parents and my family comes first. My grandmother. We were a agrarian, agricultural background family where my grandfathers chose to come out of it. Both of them started to do other businesses.
Okay.
So they stopped farming as their main profession, and then they had people who were farming for them.
Okay.
You now understand. I am saying that the person who never got into the land. So the disconnect was bothering my grandmother, which is my maternal grandmother.
Okay.
Who felt her solace, her connect was with earth.
Right.
So wherever we were in garment quarters for a very long time, and whenever Amama visited us, whatever little pocket, it was only this much, Shilpa Garu. Believe me, the kind of patch that we had in garment quarter was a very small balcony kind of land, and she grew food in that.
Wow.
My Amama always fed us with whatever she harvested. So my initial memory goes back to that. The kind of culture my mother's transfers, going to quarters, it never let us explore farming as much.
Okay.
But I grew with that. I knew which one, by the leaf, the health, the stage of the plant, the seed, the development, everything was instilled by my Amama, and that's where I cherish everything.
Okay.
When I started to buy stuff, the supermarket culture came in 20 years back?
Right.
It was just groceries where, if you remember, bade boriyon mein rice used to be there, and they used to pack things for us, and brown paper bag or a newspaper bag, or you used to carry your own bags.
Absolutely.
So you at least knew the origin of where it is coming from where it is being sourced from.
Correct.
We lost touch. Once the supermarket came in, once the all 365 days available all through the day, all seasons, culture had come in, we lost touch.
Right.
And I didn't want to fall prey for it. I was always sourcing from people. And I have an acre of land in Andhra Pradesh where I get my rice from, and we don't do the same kind of monoculture rice.
Okay.
My 1 acre is divided into small plots, further small plots, and there are different rice varieties that grow on it.
Wow.
Niche, if they're doing rice, and then we do multiple different. So the farmer who's doing it for us has a large extent of land, and he does something else on his land. But this 1 acre of land, he does it with equal passion that I hold to land. Different experiments that we wanted to do on it. That's ఇంటి మందం అనేది ఒక తెలంగాణ పదం. మన ఇంటి మందం. So just for us, ఇంటి మందం పండించుకుందాం. So just for us, that is it started off as a passion. So the rice used to come from there.
Okay.
And then gradually I shifted off from rice.
Okay.
Then once my gurus in natural eating and naturopathy, Dr. Satya Lakshmi started talking, and I started interviewing people in naturopathy. That's I understood that that's my call.
Okay.
Eating naturally sourced, locally produced, and eating all sorts of small grains and little millets incorporate these smaller grains into your diet. Diversity came in at that point.
Okay.
So from 15 years, around 15 to 16 years, I switched from rice. Rice is just one week, one meal.
Like a upma that happens once a week.
Once a week or something.
Okay.
So it's just that. I have diverse grains to eat now.
from morning to evening, you're doing so much. I mean, this is like truly living sustainably. What would you say to somebody who would come to you and say, I want to start sustainable journey, where would I start? Where should I start? What would you say to that person?
Pinpoint answer would be start with mindfulness. Start with thinking why I'm doing this.
Okay.
Where has it come from? Will I need this? Do I need this? So that itself will put you in place.
So introspection.
Introspection, just mindfulness.
Okay.
That's the initial step, and then what are the ways to achieve this? If I require this, and if this is not falling into a sustainable practice, then how well can you reuse it? How well can we share this? Can we reuse this? Can we borrow this? The whole concept of reusing and borrowing has gone, Shilpa Garu. I am so surprised. I was reading a book by Sri Ramchandra Guha Garu. How much should a person consume? How much do we consume?
How much do we need?
How much do we need? Yeah.
The question was asked by Amala Garu. Shilpa, tell me, how much do we need?
How much?
Like, really, how much do we need?
That's it, right? So what do we consume? What are we, from the banya mentality that Indians are called, ki I wear a dress which is made for my size, and if that's growing short, it would be given to a cousin or my sister.
Correct.
And then it goes on further. If your चप्पल का नाड़ा अगर निकल गया, सेफ्टी पिन लगा के चलाओ यार उसको. That mentality has now gone. One of these days, one of my friend's daughter's wedding had happened. We tried to do it as sustainably as possible. She had peetalu, the low stool, the floor stools, which were almost 45, 50-year-old. Right? So these were coming from her grandmom's age, grandparents' age, and I'm so surprised that this wood hasn't disintegrated. They have not used a nail into it, it's just wood wedged into it, so beautifully done, 50-year-old. There's a letter which is engraved in the wood describing it was given on so and so occasion for so and so, in memory of so and so and all.
Right.
She wanted to preserve that.
Okay.
Okay, and the way that earlier they thought it was preserved was by adding a laminate sheet onto it and making it look good, shiny and glossy. So I removed the decolam on that. I had to scrape it all off.
Okay.
I covered it with fabric and I kalamkari fabric. So I made these peetalu look good for her puja.
Okay.
You know, she left some diyas and some flowers and some arrangement that she could use it at puja.
Right.
The puja peetalu that they had become, you cannot sit on them.
Okay.
But they're looking very good.
Okay.
Actually, they have aged so well, but you can't use them to sit. Though they are floor stools meant to be sitting, given the age, you can't use them to sit.
Okay.
So I made it into fabric, and I thought, chalo, while I'm doing this, let me put a small video of this onto the social media so that people will understand what I'm trying to say and trying to do in my life.
Right.
I generally don't share all these sustainable practices because they might make me look preachy, so I don't generally share them on social media.
But I think you will inspire them.
I do, but then immediately this is the point where I want to come back and say, I generally don't go through the comments, but there was a comment that said, "Ayyo, ividinta peda avida." Is she that poor that she had to use this tool? So it's this notion that we carry that you have to show off certain things to look rich.
Correct.
Having certain things which are old means you're poor.
Poor.
Or it's not a class thing.
Right.
Right?
You could probably change that.
We have to change that. We don't, you are not eligible to have something new each time.
No.
You cannot afford to have everything new. It's not about money that can buy you.
And people who are happy with what they have, they are, kind of, the mind is contaminated by such comments. They'll start thinking, do I need to be a certain way, to look a certain way?
Exactly. That's the kukkan juice, nakkan juice, puli vatal. So pulin juice, idlandru vatal pettukunnattu. This is not what we want.
Correct, yeah.
So then I found it funny, but I didn't want that thread to continue. There are people who are taking it in a positive side. But this is what surprises me. When did we learn all of this?
Correct.
As Indians, we always had pride in using our old things. Privilege is letting us sit here and talk and say certain things. I would humbly say that yes, I agree that I'm privileged than much, than many more. the larger population, marginalized communities are taking the brunt of it.
Correct.
But yet, yes, let the privilege speak, but my understanding is to shake the privilege off.
Correct.
Let us shake it off.
Shake it off. Yeah.
The moment I've understood that there is privilege, I am trying to unlearn the privilege. So let me do that.
Yeah.
It's a humble request to everybody that if somebody is trying to shake off privilege, understanding privilege, let them. Do not come after them.
Right.
There are
Yeah.
these certain very strict activist friends who come with a chadi and say, you are privileged, you don't know anything about what we are going through. I was doing this show called Chetna on TV9 for a very long time. Struggle that we went through to bring out stories of urban poor who live in those small tailors, who live with drains and gutters overflowing
Open.
every day, do not have access to clean drinking water. I come back home every day, wash my hands under a running water system facility that I have, and I cried on so many days for having this water. This is privilege. We had gone somewhere very far where we saw an old lady sitting by a small water oota, we call, I don't know what you call it, oota, where water comes in, the stream naturally comes up and
Okay.
it springs up.
Yeah. Emerges from the ground.
Chalamaha emerges from ground like that, and she was waiting for the water to clear off. The old lady sits there all through the day, gradually doesn't disturb the settlements and the sediment which is under, picks up the water, puts in a container and waits again for that little small hole to
come
fill up.
out.
For 15 minutes she'll wait, she'll take a cup of water and fill her
Vessel.
vessel. What does this tell you?
Right.
You think that you can buy the branded mineral water in bubbles which come and you think you're safe.
Right.
You think that she doesn't have
No,
money to buy
absolutely.
water. She has money. She has money to buy water. It's not that she cannot buy water.
Okay.
But she'll not buy water like how we do in plastic containers.
Wow.
Right? So there are people who are still living.
Right.
They don't have access.
They don't.
The
Yes.
money that they have, they need to spend on something else.
Other stuff. Yes.
So next time that you're buying a bottle of water, people, please think about this. That there are men, there are people, there are women, there are children who are waiting for water.
Right. Absolutely.
Don't think that clean water is available everywhere.
No. As you said, running water is a privilege.
Running water.
Absolute privilege.
And there are days when Varsham, if it was raining outside, last night I didn't sleep. Oh yeah, that reminds me. This morning I had a conversation with my sister. I said, some reason I couldn't sleep well. Now I understand. Now I don't have the show to carry on. But the pain that a rain brings to families is
Right.
immense. There are people while I was doing Chetna, I never used to sleep on rainy nights. I was thinking of people who are living there with, having a dry floor is a privilege at that point. Having dry clothes is a privilege at that point.
Right.
So it always boils down to what you've understood from your privilege.
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah, being able to count your blessings and be able to help as much as you can from where you stand.
It's not about helping again. A lot of people have done so much charity, so much good people, good-hearted people who are giving away so much and helping. Let us also help ourselves by understanding that
Right.
there are ways that you can take care of
Do
our
things
environment, do things to, collectively society needs to change right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Universally we all, last year my guru, my chakra balancing meditation guru, like now I follow Dr. Anura Kandasamy, who made us do a kind of meditation, who said that universe is burdened at this point. Collective fear, collective anxiety,
Right.
the fear of death is hanging around the earth's atmosphere so much
Correct.
that we have created another layer of anxiety, like the
Right.
ionosphere, the troposphere. We've created an anxiety sphere.
Oh.
So that is heavy, that is not going to take us anywhere further. So let us all sit collectively, let us send thoughts which are more positive.
Correct.
So together we've created a chain, and there are a lot of people who are doing this.
Yes,
Lot
I
of-
heard also, like they were Even on Instagram, they kept saying, like, let's do collective meditation at a
Collective
certain
meditation
time.
time.
So you can create a certain kind of positive vibrations.
There's so much of fear and very small positive vibration that we're
Correct.
creating. How are we going to tackle it? So
Right.
this is the time that we all come in together.
Yeah,
And change.
absolutely. So that was beautiful. So finally, I want to ask you, how would you define sustainability in just one line?
Very difficult question. One line is a very difficult
Take a couple of
question.
lines, no worries. This is not a quiz, please.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. For me, sustainability is about changing yourself according to what is available. Do not be rigid. Do not find comfort in a thing that is not friendly for many other reasons.
Okay.
So if I find I cannot avoid certain components in the watch that I can wear, but I can avoid certain things that this watch can bring in. I source locally. There are brands that I think that can fulfill the need of wearing certain things.
Okay.
So you cannot avoid plastics. You cannot avoid certain chemical compounds.
Right.
You need to live with them, but deal with them. How much do you require?
Right.
And where can you reduce? That's where your sustainability comes from,
Right.
is what I think, and living as much possible naturally.
So we have a rapid choice round. Simple. Just I will give you two choices, and you just have to say what is your choice. That's all.
Sure.
Mountains or beaches?
Mountains,
Grasslands or forests?
forests,
Caves, valleys?
caves,
Birds and animals? Or animals?
animals,
Plant or a tree?
tree,
Water, fire?
fire.
Okay. Fiery.
Yeah,
Sun or the moon?
moon,
Expected that.
Yeah.
Roses or lilies?
lilies,
Okay. Fruits or vegetables?
vegetables,
Farming or gardening?
farming,
Sunrise or sunset?
sunset,
River or an ocean?
river,
Rain, snow?
rain,
Biking or trekking?
trekking.
A house or a farmhouse?
None of them.
No, where would you like to be?
Gudise.
Wow.
Yeah. By the way, I'm building something really very sustainable too. My house, the one that is under making, we're using all ancient techniques. We're using mud as our medium,
Limestone,
mud, and everything that is resourced, repurposed again.
Please
We'll talk
invite
about
me when
yes.
it's done.
Yeah,
I would
some
love
small,
to see.
small gudise that we're
It's
making.
okay,
Yeah.
but I would love to see that.
Yeah.
To live in a city or a village?
Village, definitely.
Skydiving or scuba diving?
Nothing. None of the divings.
None of the divings,
None of the
okay.
divings.
Summers or winters?
Summers,
Salad or a smoothie?
salad.
Okay. I think most of them I knew because we spoke about them.
Yeah.
But well done, Jansi.
Thank you so much. The contrast between the fire and the sunsets, it all comes from the practice. We all think that moon is calm and cool, but no, moon has so much of power.
It actually rises you more than the sun does.
Yes, it does. And fire, I'm more into fire rituals, Trataka, the fire gauging,
Okay.
the burning of certain
There's a lot to learn
herbs.
from you. I think we
Yes.
have to get on a call or
Yeah.
sometime.
We used to do energy circle meditations at certain points of times, at certain moonrise, certain evenings that we select, and we
Wow.
all sit in collective energy meditations.
Okay.
We call them energy circles. We create energy circles while you're sitting here. We've created one pocket right now. So collective consciousness, have one consciousness in your head and then create a circle. This is a ritual where while the fire is
Right.
blazing, you give your thoughts into the fire, you feed it there and let it burn into ashes.
Wow.
Yeah, we do this.
I've been reading some books which talks about all this, and then now you saying it, it's kind of.
I will invite you
reinstating.
the next energy circle meditation that we're doing.
Yes.
Cafe
please do.
Paka partners along all these activities. They give me a
Okay.
space to do all of these.
Wonderful. Count me in.
Yes. So now to you both, you Shilpa and Kanti, I wish you a great success in what you've started, not just this conversation.
Right.
I'm really very happy and really very, very proud of you, Kanti, and you, that you've started something which is mindfully curated. Ma intlo, we have chakki mill where I make my own dals.
Oh, wow.
And I make my own ravas, we make our own oils at home. So
Really?
nobody has that patience. I don't have
Correct.
time, right?
Yes, I was going to ask, do you even have the time for all
I
that?
have time for that itself. Where else? I don't work like others where people run behind money, I run behind health. I'm very happy with my little
Right.
things that I keep busy. When people ask me, Madam Chala busy, she very, very difficult. Yes, I am difficult because I have so many other things having. I must be doing my chakki piece of frying at home while you have called, or while I must be playing with mud. I don't have phone literally with me. The
You
more I
don't have
use,
WhatsApp.
I don't have WhatsApp.
I was surprised being in media and no WhatsApp. I really wanted to.
Shilpa Garu, will you believe how many calls I get in a day? Other than my family and friends, if you think that I get professional calls, it would be once in a month.
Really?
My phone doesn't ring much. It's only people that I know, the close-knit people who call me.
Really?
Yes.
That explains.
I don't use the phone as a gadget to communicate at all.
This is so mind-boggling for
For me, my phone, if I'm sitting with my phone, it's doing a class or talking or taking a class.
Really?
Yeah.
Your priorities are so different,
Very
and then
different.
you stuck to them. That's amazing.
I'll tell you, we have rescued a dog which was abandoned on the road. He must have been 3.5 year old, spine down, paralyzed,
Oh.
no control on bladder.
Okay.
So I thought I saw something lying on the road. I thought it was a rabbit or something which has come out of the KBR park. But then I took a U-turn back, go there, see it's a dog in a distressed state. I couldn't take it. Is it an accident which caused it? Then I saw it's an abandoned pup.
Okay.
Then we get back home, all these beautiful friends of mine, Supriya, Health, Nandu, Swapna, all these, Lakshmi, all these beautiful people came in, sent love, sourced people, they all gave in money for his surgery. We got him
Really?
spine surgery done, but
Wow.
unfortunately we couldn't get him back onto his legs, but he's such a happy puppy. All these
He
people
has
have...
you.
No, he teaches you so much. 2 feet, you can live so happily. He drags himself all around. He's never unhappy. He'll demand what he wants. He's like he cannot be on his own. You have to express his bladder.
Oh,
And there are
okay.
times that we give him a tablet for his sphincter to open, and gravity does the job of
Okay.
letting the urine flow.
Okay.
So he has to be in a diaper all the time.
Oh, does he? Okay.
So I didn't use diaper on my child as well. We used cloth diapers, and I'm using cloth diapers on Bujji as well, the dog.
Wow.
So we wash our own diapers, and people ask me, isn't that, wear gloves there? You get the synthetic or the latex or the rubber there. If you want to use plastic, put
Right.
it to the right use.
Correct. Yeah.
I can't use cotton gloves and wash stinky diapers.
Correct.
So I will use plastic in the way that it has to be used.
And those are reusable. They
They're
last you for a
they
long
last
time.
for a long time, and I'm very consciously sending them back to the place that it needs to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then again, so that's how reduce, reuse also comes into place. Bujji has taught us so much. Bujji is something else
I'm
for us.
glad you brought this out. I mean, this story is amazing. And I'm sure if I keep talking, there are multiple layers that I
Of
can
course
explore.
they will. So people keep asking me what I'm busy with. I'm busy with my own things that I've developed for myself.
Beautiful
I keep busy with them.
things.
So in these busy lives, let me come back to Sustain Card.
Okay,
The busy lives that we have do not allow us. It could be your profession, you as a designer, you as promoting certain, the causes that you take up. You're the champion of causes. You must be really, really busy in giving time. While doing all of that, you want to be attentive, mindful, giving thought to detail. Where are the options?
Right.
Everybody can't sit and do oil extraction
of
like
course
how I
not.
do. So you still want to have good options. That's where Sustain Card comes in place. I'm so well in line with my thought. I keep telling people, do not complain. Find your ways, figure your ways to be sustainable.
Correct.
And you got everything onto one platform.
Right.
I'm really proud of you and wishing you great luck.
Thank you. Coming from you means a lot to me because it comes from an honest and a pure place. So thank you so much, Jhansi Garu.
Thank you, Shilpa Garu, for having me on the show. I
Thank
understand the dedication, passion and commitment that you have towards the causes that you believe.
Thank you
and
again.
you are not trying to use the celebrity or the star, quote unquote, who's sitting in this chair to feel powerful. You are here to remind them that you need to live sustainably. It's a reminder for myself.
Okay.
I take it back today. I'm not here as a champion. I'm not here as a star who's talking from privilege. I'm here going back with a reminder that do live sustainably.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. It was a beautiful, insightful conversation. Thank you again for being on my show.
Thank you so much. Loved every bit of this.
Before we let you go, we have a beautifully curated hamper from Yellow Veranda, all Indian native art and craft put together. I hope this conversation with Jhansi is very connecting and impactful. Thank you for watching this episode. See you all next week. Stay tuned for more updates. Signing off, Shilpa Reddy.